What's up, good people? Welcome back to Four Titles, One Truth. I'm Tommy. You know your boy.
And I'm Lance. Today, we're talking about something that hits home for a lot of service members.
Facts.
Figuring out who you are outside that uniform.
Yes. When you've worn that rank for decades, it's more than just a job.
It is.
It becomes a part of your
Yes, it
identity, your DNA.
Yep. But what happens when the uniform comes off? Let's get into it. All right, Tommy. When did you first realize your identity was wrapped up in your rank? And what triggered that realization?
So, I realized my identity's wrapped up because when I made non-commissioned officer, right, which is Sergeant E5 and above on the enlisted side. Because when you make sergeant, that's when people just stop calling you by your last name. And so everywhere you go all the time, unless it's, of course, your peers, everybody's called you Sergeant so-and-so. And that stays sergeant until you get to master sergeant, right? So it's sergeant, staff sergeant first class, master sergeant, then sergeant major, as well as command sergeant major. And so when you make master sergeant, when you achieve the rank of master sergeant, then even though the Army says you're still supposed to be called sergeant, most people call you master sergeant.
Master sergeant, okay.
And then of course first sergeant or sergeant major. That's it. And so that basically became my name, right? Because
I understand that.
When you become a sergeant, you are responsible for people, and you're not just responsible for those people during duty hours. You're responsible for them during duty hours, off duty hours, you know, first thing in the morning, midnight, whatever. Because anytime something happens to them that could interfere with their ability to help you accomplish the mission, like say for instance, one of them gets a DUI at 3 a.m. The squad leader gets that phone call. It comes down, but squad leader gets that phone call, and then it's the squad leader's responsibility to find out everything that happened, get in contact with the soldier if possible, and then see what that follow up until the soldier's back on duty.
I mean, because it sounds like what you're saying, which makes a whole lot of sense, is that it's not only the name change, but also the level of responsibility.
Without a doubt.
That just made it like, okay, now I'm not just...
Yes, you're not just a soldier
just
anymore.
A soldier following.
Absolutely. And then the more... Because the reality of it is, I was at least a sergeant for 25 years. And once you take on that title of sergeant, it becomes your name. It becomes a part of you, and you're recognized by it. You're hailed for it. You're beat down for it. Whatever. So I think that was the first time I realized I was caught up in that other side of me, that other person.
No, I agree with you, because I would say for me, I mean it happened when I came in, because I'm coming from an environment where I was Lance, LT, college. So it wasn't, I wasn't a lieutenant, wasn't, but so as soon as I got into there, it was Lieutenant Taylor, second Lieutenant Taylor, and it was like, okay, that's me, and nobody's calling you by your first name, and it's like that, and that's how you've identified, because that's what your family calls you, that's what your friends, your friends, they call whatever your nickname or what your name is. I mean, that's what you're hearing. They're not necessarily. You have some folks that they call them they might call them by their last name, but that, like what you were talking about, that sergeant, and sometimes I don't even say Sergeant Jones, it's just sergeant.
Sergeant, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so I mean that was probably that initial coming in and kind of like losing that your first, losing losing my first name, and then the level of responsibility along with that for me was seeing when it's the different, because it's different in the hospital, because it's not so much as of like leading. Formal. It's not so much as what the traditional.
Oh, okay.
When you're talking about leading and stuff, because we're teaching and we're doing, a lot of. So I went from being a student, being a cadet, to being a second lieutenant, to being a RN. That's supposed to know
how to do your job.
How to do your job, and you're teaching the medics and all of those guys how to do some stuff, but they're also teaching you, because they've been doing. Some of those guys have been doing that stuff for like 4 or 5 years, starting IV, doing it every day. Where it's like
OJT
shit.
On job.
Yeah, so I mean, it was it was one of those things where it was like, okay, I'm in it now. I'm not
It's
not out in this. Yeah, it's not out in the civilian thing. I'm not Nurse Taylor or Nurse Lance, Mr. Taylor. That's what they used to call me in nursing school, Mr. Lance or Mr. Taylor. So yeah, it's I think it was that cutoff of losing your first name on a everyday basis to everybody, where you're answering to and turning your head when you hear.
Because they're specifically talking to you because they said your first name.
And it's not like, because, we would have, like, on our floor, we would be like 5 or 6 other second lieutenants. So if somebody said LT, everybody, you talking to me?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so
I'll say, here's the little difference. So when it comes to officers, you have LT, you have lieutenant, and sir, right? That's coming out. And then you have second lieutenant, first lieutenant, and then captain, you have captain, major, lieutenant colonel, colonel, and then you start the stars, generals, all the way up. But once you reach captain, most people don't call you captain. So it's usually sir.
Yes.
Right. And so you have different titles, and the evolution of that is it goes from LT and lieutenant so-and-so to sir, and then it carries on for sir. But you all have another take on that, is your bosses that are officers usually call you by your first name.
Some do, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you all, and this is something I realized early. Officers, you all have I'm not going to say that it's in the rules, but it seems like that you all have what's the word I'm looking for? I can just think of habit, but that ain't the right word. But anyway, you all have a habit of keeping the rank structure up more informal. And what I mean by that is when you start making lieutenant colonel, whatever, people start putting their nicknames in their email block, signature block. And a lot of them start being recognized by their not initials, but their nicknames and stuff like that.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
And so, and when you are together, it's like a little more informal. But when it's on the enlisted side, especially in my time frame coming up, it was never, if you were sergeant to a specialist, you were sergeant to the first sergeant, you were sergeant to everybody.
Yeah, but I don't think that like a lieutenant's not going to come up to a general or a colonel and say, "Hey, Big Tex."
No, true. True.
I mean, if it's a peer-to-peer thing,
yeah.
I mean, you.
Well,
it depends on the situation. Like, if I don't know you, I'm calling you.
Yeah. Sir,
sir or lieutenant, what if we're the same rank, I'm still like, hey, what's up, Colonel Jones, or I'm still, if I don't know you like that, where it's like, I don't know this dude,
But peers, Wow. Well,
I mean, because to me it was like, if I don't know you, then you call me by, you don't know me as Lance. Because to me, if anybody that called me Lance knew me, they knew me. We talked. I mean, it wasn't a. I guess that's what I used as my thing, my level of gauge of, we cool. We can sit down and
if they knew you, if they called you by your first name,
okay. Call them on first name, because otherwise it's like we at work, we Colonel, And that same thing. I mean, that's the way that I treat everybody. I mean, even in situations where I was in environments where I outranked all, everybody, I still call.
Right.
Yeah, I still call folks by their rank, because it's like you earn that rank. That's your rank that you go by at work when you wearing the uniform and stuff. And it's not like especially if we ain't like hanging out, we ain't going to have a beer or something, after work, or we ain't barbecuing on the weekend. And no, I mean, just to keep it so that it's not not a surprise to anybody, because people will call you by your first name or whatever. Then if something pops up and then it's like, people got butt hurt and their feelings hurt, and just try to keep it the same all the way through, so perfectly, so that they know what it is.
Mm-hmm. I'll just say that I think that may be another difference, hospital to operations, because I know that commanders love that first name thing. They love being able to, specifically when it comes to the officers, and depending on the level, it hardly ever goes over to the NCO part or whatever. But I know that.
Let me say this: when I was counseling or talking, I mean, if I'm one-on-one and we're in the office, I would say, and I'm like, look, Tommie, you need to, just to try to bring it to more of a what. But when we out, if we're out in the
world,
in the open, where we're around other soldiers, civilians, or whatever, then we need to keep it
professional.
Yeah, we need to keep it professional, and that's the way that I did it. So
no, I got you. Okay, and I do understand that, but I just know that specifically on the NCO side, with me coming up, I was never called Tommie again, except by my bosses, and that was once again behind closed door. They never do it, or they never did it.
We were filling out the NCOER, so that's so we could see what your name was.
Absolutely, they get to know it. But that stopped a lot. But anyway, hey, so after retirement, what was the hardest part about rediscovering who you were as a person, not just as a title? I guess we first should say, was it hard?
To me, I don't think that piece wasn't difficult for me, okay. And I don't know what it was, or I never changed who I was. I guess the essence of who I was, the core, who I was from when I came in to when I finished. So I knew who I was. I acted how I acted. Depending on what but I always was professional and tried to whatever the situation, whatever the situation was, then you can act accordingly and do accordingly and answer accordingly and all of that stuff. But I never felt like, especially when I wasn't at work, that you're gonna call me the colonel. You're gonna be and part
your
of
kids
that,
didn't call you sir.
No.
Colonel.
I mean, and part of that too was probably because being in a house with another military person who outranked, she outranked me because she always get promoted.
Did you call her ma'am?
I call her ma'am now, so none of that changed. So
okay,
that's smart. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I never. I don't know. It never
became you.
Yeah, I knew what my rank. Especially as you start going up and you know what your rank are, and other folks know what your rank. They know what you are. They know that you're a major. They know that you're a colonel. You don't have to beat folks over the head with it. So for me, I tried to be as approachable as I could, stay personable, so that because I felt like I could get things done better that way, and people would listen to me, and they would listen to me, and not just the rank.
You would purposely try to break that barrier.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, because some people will do things and listen because of the rank, but they won't necessarily do it because of
respect.
Who the person is. Yeah, for the respect. So, so I tried to. So that piece was. I mean, I wasn't. I didn't feel like once I left the military that I was. Oh my God. I'm gonna die. Yeah, I'm not gonna be Colonel Taylor anymore, or So I just. It did. Yeah, it didn't. It didn't do me like that. So I was good.
I applaud you. I applaud you because I will say, and some people may challenge me on this, but I will say, when you're a non-commissioned officer, you either become that role or you have to play that role. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely a caricature of who you were before. I think the reason I was good at it is because it was who I was, my personality. It wasn't because of I was trying to play somebody. This was me, right? I was loud. I was forward. I was trying to overachieve. But I'm just going to say, as a non-commissioned officer, if you can't embody that role, meaning if that role's not naturally you have to learn how to be that, because you're around soldiers all the time, and you can't. I mean, the biggest thing you have to do is you have to make sure that there is a way. I'm not going to say that you have to find a way, but there is a way that separates you from leadership to subordinate. Mm-hmm. And some people have to figure out how to do that. If you don't naturally carry yourself as a leader, you don't naturally do the right thing, and then try to encourage others to do the right thing and follow your example. If that's not something that's naturally in you, then you're going to have to take that role on. And so think about it. I went from E4 specialist, never being called sergeant, being called Jones, J, Big J, and all that stuff,
right?
To made sergeant, the rank of sergeant, E5, to being called sergeant, big sarge, stuff like that. And I went from squad leader, sergeant, to staff sergeant. And then staff sergeant promotable, I became an instructor. So I had to lean more into that leadership role as the subject matter expert, right? Then from there, I went to drill sergeant, to where you live up to what people think a drill sergeant is, or you don't, right? And I'm not saying that you have to be less of yourself. I'm trying to get the message out that.
No, I mean, I think that y'all you were in a more formal environment, or more traditional, what you would think of what the Army is.
More traditional and beyond traditional.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what the point I'm trying to get across is. So if you are a drill sergeant, if you're an instructor, right, and you don't dive into that, then you have to find ways to alter yourself so that you can get that respect. And I'll argue with anybody who says that you naturally have that, and it's something that people don't have to learn. Because even though I felt the DNA of the Army, I still had to take on that role, right? Because if you don't dive into the job, then how are you going to master that job, right? And people don't just respect you because of your title. They don't just respect you because you're a good person.
Well, you don't want them to just respect you for that.
That's what
and
I'm
I mean,
saying.
and that's a difference in leaders.
I
you know,
agree. Yeah.
I mean, because folks will just because
Bow
you wear
down to you
because you
of the
wearing
rank.
that
Yeah,
you wearing
yeah.
the rank or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I mean, so what you're talking about is it sounds pretty similar to what
Yeah.
I'm is, but except for you all are. I mean, you were doing it at those different
Yeah.
levels. I mean, I'm sure at
Yeah.
each of those levels it was different
Absolutely.
ways and things. I mean, it was just like, okay, now I got to
Yeah.
do this, but still being, because you said before, at the beginning that you were naturally loud. You were,
Yeah.
I mean, that was just using your attributes that you
Yeah.
had already had,
Yeah.
and then tailoring them towards whatever the
Whatever the
job, the
was.
rank,
Yeah.
or whatever it called for. So no,
Agreed.
I hear what you're saying.
And then after freaking drill sergeant, then you become master sergeant, first sergeant, and that's another role.
That's a lot
that you
more.
have
I
to
mean, it's a
take
lot more
on.
responsibility.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's more
And
responsibility.
then sergeant
stuff.
major, and it's absolutely more responsibility. But it's also when you step into those roles, there's an expectation, and you absolutely don't have to live up to that expectation because you can surpass it. You can be equivalent to it, or you can be less of it, or you can be outside the box. You could be a different part of it. And what I mean by that is you could be a strong drill sergeant, but have a grandfatherly, fatherly, motherly, grandmotherly feel to you. Because I absolutely served with some drill sergeants that they felt like the mother of the platoon
bunch.
or whatever. Yeah, I was not the fatherly type. I was. Hey, this is what we're gonna do. That didn't mean I didn't talk to the soldiers or whatever, but it was. You had to, and I was a senior sergeant first class. So I had been a sergeant first class for 2 years and some change while I was on the trail. So trail meaning the service I did as a drill sergeant. And so when I came as a drill sergeant, sort of going off topic, when I came on as a drill sergeant, I completely understood that my job was not to break soldiers. My job was to build soldiers. And the reason I say it like that, because if you come in too quick as a drill sergeant and you don't have the experience of serving at the level that you're expected to be, and the level of maturity that's required to not break or go overboard on these soldiers, I can give you names of people that were in Leavenworth because they couldn't do
don't
that.
drop names.
Yeah.
Don't drop names.
First you had, no, I'm just playing. But it is because being a drill sergeant is like, there's nothing like it. And I could literally tell a private, run into that wall until that joker falls down. And I'm not saying every soldier would do it, but I would bet that 90% of them would just first run.
Wow.
That's the thing. Hey, I would walk into a room. So we'd have the brigade commander sitting in a room talking to soldiers. And then I have to go pick up my soldiers. And I walk in the room and he's talking. They stare at these. You see what I'm saying? So it's a thing. And you can absolutely get drunk with power being a drill sergeant. And a lot of people have done that. And I am blessed that I didn't get it as early as I wanted it. Because if I would have got it as a young staff sergeant, I would have killed some soldiers. And it's not because I would beat them up or anything. It's that I would have overdid it, over aggressive, over all that stuff. But all that to say, having to step into these roles and embody those roles, it chinks away of the person you were as a civilian. Even your core, it starts to thin it out, right? You start off coming in as a private, you got this highway of core of who you are. And then the more rank you make, the more leadership positions on the enlisted side and being that drill sergeant, blah, 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 it shapes. I'm not going to say chinks away, but it refines.
Right. I mean, it shapes your identity. I mean, you are creating a new identity
new
for the most part. Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's because of my job. I mean, it had to be just because of my job. You know, because my job would be the same on the outside as what I was doing in the military. I mean, we were in the military and still doing different things, but as far as the job goes, that was the same. I mean, that was the same. I mean, my conferences and things, the organizations that we're part of were civilian, you know, national civilian organizations, and some of the conferences and things were, you know, national civilian.
So look at it my way. There's only one job outside of the military that resembles anything I did, and that would be ROTC.
Yeah. Well, that's what you have a lot of guys that go do ROTC absolutely. After they retire, just to try to keep
it going.
Yeah.
And that's for me. So when I took the uniform off, it was literally me being naked again. Because when I walk into a room,
everybody ain't standing up.
Not just standing up, but not even noticing. You know what I'm saying? And then when you walk up to the counter, you know, when you I've already said about a drill sergeant, but sergeant major?
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I hear you, I understand, because when I went to the doctor for the first, you know, went to the doctor for the first time, and after I retired and check in, and you know, before it was like Colonel Taylor, you know, looking, and it was like somebody came out and was like, Lance, is Lance here? I was like, hell you talking to? You know,
you better.
And I was like, I am Lance. You know, so I understand that some of that. I understand some of that because because it's when you're in that environment for as long as you've been. I mean, you start to change on some. I mean, but I hear you.
And so for me, it was hard after retirement. Not because I wanted it, right? Because when I knew that when I retired, I was going to separate from the military. I was not doing no ROTC. I was not working on base.
Everything. You were going cold. Cold was a cold turkey.
No, because I knew that because of my service, seeing people like that, seeing that person at range control who has to always come out and relive their, you know, well, when I was a whatever, I'm not that guy, and I don't want to be that guy. Or even when I was.
So how long do you think it took you to start, I guess, feeling comfortable with who you were after retirement, after taking the uniform off and not having?
And see, so I just want to make sure everybody understands that I was always comfortable with who I was.
Okay.
That was never a problem, right? Okay. I was proud of what I've become. I was proud of my service and all that stuff. What was hardest for me was getting used to being another face, another number. Okay. And not because I wanted it, needed it, but because like I said, I could walk into any place in the military. I mean, just coming on base, that's a perfect example. Coming on base in uniform is completely different than coming on base with a retired car. You know, except for officers, y'all still get saluted.
Yeah, and it's like, all right,
get saluted.
Thank you.
But when it comes to your enlisted, unless you served at that base, it's very different. It's like, hey, how you doing there? Okay. Do you know who I was? So yeah, it's
I hear you.
It was hard getting used to it, not because I wanted it, but because there was an expectation of it, if that makes sense. You know, you going into VA and they call you by your first name, or you go and meet them and they don't address your name. They just say, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, you can go and have a seat, take a number. You're like, "What?"
Yeah,
I don't take numbers.
I'm some average Joe.
Yeah,
come on.
So that was a trip. There was a trip, and it took some time. It took some time to get used to it, but not accept it.
Okay.
Okay. All
right, Tommie. How did your family or close friends help or challenge your sense of self once you left the military?
So I'll say this was the advantage of making senior ranks. And it's every day, or at a minimum, every week a sergeant major is retiring. And once you become friendly with sergeant majors, you stay in contact with each other. You know, once you become friends, you sense, especially when you know you're on the same path they are. And so I had the ability to have real communication with people that were retiring years before I retired.
All right.
And so I had an idea of what I was walking into. That's why I said I didn't expect to be heralded as a retired sergeant major, because I knew that wasn't going to happen. But just because you read the script don't mean the movie ain't going to blow you away. You know what I mean? So I will say my friends, family really didn't have family was different with everybody except Nikki, right? Because Nikki, she was scared to death of me retiring. Yeah. And the reason she was scared to death is because she knew that it wasn't a persona, it was me. And so her fear was, can he survive, not being the man, you know? And so, and I had an honest fear of that, because I did not know 100% what I wanted to do after retirement until like that last year.
Okay.
So all the way up till year 28, I was still in the fight. Wasn't really thinking about what's around the corner. I was still, okay, what's the next job? And retirement was just one of those things. Yeah, it'll come, you know. And so I never really spent a lot of time prepping for it.
Okay.
Now, I still had the 401k. I still had my money right. I still had my my credit right. And, you know, I still, because of the trying to be a good soldier type of thing, that equivalates to trying to be a good person, you know.
Be a good role model.
You know, so just trying to equivalate. Is that a word? Did I make that up?
We can put it in the dictionary.
Yeah. So. If I didn't, I'm smart than a mother. If I did, don't worry about that. But it equates to, you know. So I was good on the financial part of after retirement, but mentally is what I wasn't prepping myself for, which is a no. All right. If the end is coming near and you can see the end coming near, meaning you're reaching that 20 or you're reaching that 20 or 20 plus, before it gets to that time, I'm talking 3 years out, you should start making sure that, yes, you're financially prepared, but there's other things you need to really pay attention to. Where are you going to live? Are you going to try to buy a house? Are you going to rent? Are you going to lease? Are you going to buy a car?
Yes, I mean, and I think that's a and I just throwing something out there. I don't know if this is just something that folks worry about more as far as the financial things that only do 20 or just a little bit over 20, as opposed to folks that did the 30. Extra 9-10 years that we did, where it's like I'm not really sweating.
It was 10.
Not really sweating. Not really sweating the financial piece of it, but it's the okay. What am I going to do next? Am I going to feel fulfilled doing this next job or not doing anything at all? Will I be able to survive? So yeah.
And so, but also with Nikki being worried about me, she was tiptoeing around me when I retired, and it's something that she was so worried about me, and it's something that I had to snap out of.
I say, what did you do? I mean, did you notice at that time? Did you feel it or notice it?
No.
That she was. Did you know? Did she say?
Oh yeah.
Hey, babe, I'm scared. I don't know what you.
She would jokingly say it before I retired.
Okay.
Right, and also don't forget, a few years before I retired, COVID hit. So it was if nothing else, when you get those retirement orders, it generates conversation, no matter what, whether you want to hear them or not. And then there's actions that you have to take to prep for it. So it was real mentions, and it was something that I considered or was concerned about, because I knew who I was, and I was.
Well, I mean, that's good. You were self-aware.
Yeah. But
even
though you're
that's
self-aware, don't mean
it helps though, because some folks that might be in that situation that aren't
Florida
self-aware.
With these hurricanes, they're aware that hurricanes happen, but they still don't leave. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just cut it off with this. I was not concerned about being a civilian.
Okay.
I was concerned about the pace that I had become accustomed to. Because the military pace is, I've said it before, but I said it wrong. Drinking water out of a fire hydrant hose. That's what it's like. It's always something, especially on the enlisted side, on the operational side, when it comes to soldiers. And then you got soldiers, but you also got real life people depending on you to survive.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But it's always something, and it's different. What about you?
Well, for me, I was like the last one to retire out of the French. So I'm seeing everybody.
From behind your ears.
It's getting drier now. It's not what you call it. It's getting a little dry now. But everybody that had retired, my wife had retired 2 years prior to my retirement. So we had already, discussed, this is where we're going to live. This is the house that we're going to, so a lot of those things I didn't have to worry about them. Probably the biggest thing that that I was probably worried about is not being around folks every day, because I knew that I didn't have the desire or the want to, or the feel. I didn't have I didn't feel like I had to go back to work. Right. And if I didn't feel like if I didn't go back to work, then I'm gonna be a failure. You know what I'm gonna. Right. It was just not being around folks, and because I was so accustomed to coming in. I got my people at the front, going around to my ORs, going down to the SPDs. I mean, just that routine, piece of just being, going to my different meetings and just doing all of those things and working through problems, doing, just getting ready, preparing for things, where I was like, what am I going, and
that's real, people.
Yeah. So, and then when it finally hit me, it's like, that's what's beating me up right now. I need to take a break from all of that, but yeah, I mean, it was I had a good a good tribe that I was with, the people that would, hey, did you do this? Hey, don't forget to take care of these things. And, and I had a good support group around me whenever I finished.
So just to go off a little bit, what did you not, was there anything that you didn't anticipate that sort of snuck by and pricked you a little bit?
Man, I can't think of anything. Yeah, I can't. I'm trying to think if it comes up, I always call. But I had to think about that one because I don't recall anything. Just because it was like I watched Audra, do it and talked to her about it. Had talked to you about it. Terrence, one of our other friends, he just retired not too long. So I mean, it's just seeing a lot of the folks do it.
Right.
So I had a better understanding about the ACAP, and doing all of those things. And I need to do this. The only thing I didn't do a resume for. About 10 months. I was like, I need to do that just to have something on file. Yeah. So, but same thing with you is like for family and stuff. It really wasn't. My sister and them and mom and cousins and stuff. I'm always cousin Lance and Big Head or whatever. Yeah. So
for me, I will say that I didn't consider the addiction I had to my phone.
Oh.
To always having to have it on you.
You reading email and stuff
and
like
all
that.
that stuff. Yeah. So now my filler is playing them little games, and all that stuff. But now it's the production and stuff that I'm doing for the company.
See, I broke myself from having the
Reliance,
company phone or whatever, so where I got everything where they can just touch you anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that last year.
So what parts of your military identity did you choose to keep versus what did you consciously choose to let go? This is an in-depth question.
I know that's probably. I'm trying to. That's how to answer that one.
It doesn't. If it's something you can quickly say you let go, then you can just start there.
Well, I mean, I kept probably my wanting to help folks. The empathy piece of it. Always looking at how can trying to. I think just trying to solve problems, trying to help people when they need, trying to be there for folks. But that's a good one.
I will honestly say, I think the core of who I am is the same. Mm-hmm. I still feel, and I keep referring to the 7 Army values, right? I still feel that I represent that, right? I still feel that I'm selfless. Mm-hmm. I still feel that I'm focused on being a good person, right?
Right.
What I did try to pull back on is my intensity when it comes to how I approach people and how I talk to people. That's something that I've turned way down.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because I don't talk at people.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's what I mean. I hear what you're saying with that, because I mean that's one that I was like, not talking at people and talking to people and asking and not telling. I mean that's what I So yes, that's absolutely. Because my wife hits me all the time. Audra hits me all the time with, you need to just ask. When I want my son to do something, not to expect them to jump on. Like if I'm doing something, because that, because how we were in the jobs that we did, a lot of things were like, I shouldn't have to ask you to do this. You should see that it's
ask you twice.
Has to be done, because if I have to, I don't need you. Absolutely. And you can go someplace. So yes, and that's not real.
That's not how families work.
That's not how you do that. Yeah, that's not how you do that. So if you have to ask folks, so people know what you want, and get a better.
You have to
take
result. A moment to explain yourself.
Yes.
Which is something
so yes, that piece I did. I did leave. I had to leave.
Yeah, same. That, and that's what I meant by the intensity. I toned that way down, and also I've always been this way, but I'm like overly that way now. Like, I start new conversations with people, and it bothers Nikki a lot because she says I'll never meet a stranger. But
well, that's
if I go in,
that's not a bad. That's not a bad, because my father was like that. Audra's father was like that. One of our uncles, Uncle Clarky, he was. I mean, they could just go anywhere, sit down, and just start talking to people, and that's not a bad thing. Yeah. I mean, that is not a bad thing.
Yeah. And I will say that the Army helped me to be able to do that, because I don't care what race you are, I don't care what gender you are, I don't care what your beliefs are. I can have a conversation with you.
You should be able to.
And I can absolutely keep the conversation to where when we both leave each other, we're gonna have a good impression of each other. And so that's something I'm proud of.
Yep.
Another thing that I believe that I consciously let go, it was being on that super fast paced life. I consciously had to choose to let that go, because that was directly related to me being able to focus on my family. And that's what led to me not getting another job and getting right back into
it. That's what I didn't have to. I mean, that's what I wanted to let go, because it was messing with my health. It's like I was putting too much into that and worrying too much about that
you weren't
at my age, and I wasn't 25-year-old Lance that could take all. Your body could take all that. So I mean, it breaks you down as much as you are mentally strong and prepared for it. It seeps down into your places where you don't want it. So,
and that's the thing about the military. No matter how seasoned you are, you're going to walk in that next morning and something's going to be like, hit you like, what?
Yeah.
It's always
fast.
Something.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, you just have to, and you have to react. And depending on what you're doing, you have to react, and it's like, ooh.
You get so used to bobbing and weaving,
because some of those ideas, that's some good ideas. You're like, man, that was a good.
Yeah. Now you're at home, you're like, should I cut the grass today?
You look at it and be like,
tomorrow.
So I didn't get a notice on the door, so I'm good. Or you get in competition. So I would get in competition with my neighbors and be like, I'd be like, what you doing cutting the grass? You gonna have Mr. Jackson out there cutting the grass. I was like, hey.
That's what I got going on right now. So,
All right, so Tommie, what advice would you give someone who is about to take the uniform off and get ready for that next chapter in their life?
I would honestly tell you to identify when your separation is going to come from the military and prepare for it, both physically and mentally. Right. We've already talked about the finances and then the simple questions that you have to figure out, like, am I going to move closer to family, or I'm going to go somewhere I like? Am I going to stay in place here? Have
that conversation with your significant other. I mean, it's a big. I mean, a retirement is a big thing.
Huge.
It's a big thing. So you need to make those decisions as far as where you want to live, because you have to in the out processing and retirement. You have to give them where you're going to move to, where you're going to use this last move. So so it's a lot of it's a lot of preparing that you need to do. And if you are exactly what you're saying, if you're thinking about it before, not 2 weeks before you're going to retire, you can drop your retirement paperwork like up to 24 months now and start doing all of those classes and utilizing all of those resources and stuff that they have out there for this very reason. As far as a lot of the physical piece of it, the mental piece, that's going to be...
And I say that because 2 reasons specifically. One is you have to mentally separate from your job as soon as possible, as early as possible. Because if you can mentally separate, not only is it hard, but it ain't your decision all the time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Because a lot of times you don't have a replacement coming, so you're working all the way up until.
Yeah, and trust me, if you're working till the end, you're not mentally prepared because there's so much just to consider. You don't have to answer every question for retirement, but there's so much to consider that if you are still in the fight, and what I mean by in the fight, you're still putting out the same amount or close to the same amount of energy.
Engaged,
by being engaged in your job and not your retirement, then you're missing opportunities to prep for it. So that's the first thing. And then secondly, when it comes to mental health and mental focus, it's once you step away, once the uniform's off for the last time, and that very next day, you're going to feel like you're on leave, right? And if you didn't prepare for that, then leave's going to run out and you're just going to be sitting there like. And so I have friends that they when they retired, they went and got a daggone mobile home connected to it. Not mobile home, what do you call them things?
RV.
Connected to their truck and just drove around the U.S. I know people that when they retired, they physically went to where they were going, and then they worked on building a house for themselves. I know people that went to Europe for a month, just to do that. So all that stuff. Nikki and I, we drove from Virginia. We stopped at her father's house, helped him out as best we could, and spent some time with him. And then we came on to San Antonio because we were building a home here. And luckily, not luckily, but God set it up that her sister lived here, and we were able to keep our money intact and live with her. But that mental thing, prepping right before, and then once you step off that cliff, that is real. So I would say get your mental ready, prepare yourself to separate from your job, as well as prepare yourself to no longer be in service.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I hear that. And same. I feel the same way. I would also add that just saying that when we were talking earlier about identifying those things that we know is like, that's not going to be acceptable out on in the thing. Identify those things and try to start, if you can, try to start working on those. But if you identify them and you know what they are, then you're going to be aware of them whenever those situations come up that you would normally display those attributes. But also, you, especially if you stayed in a long time, if you did 20,
that's a long time.
You still, you had some good characteristics. You had some good pieces of that identity that you don't want to use, because some of those things are what's wanted on the out. If you're going back to work, what's wanted on the outside. Companies are looking for
dependable people,
that discipline, the dependable
energy,
that people that can lead. They're looking for that because they're lacking that on the outside and in some areas, some places, in some areas. And I saw that, just talking to different folks that have gone to retired and have gone to work, and it's like, oh man, they need people that know how to that can lead, and so a lot of your identity, you gonna want to keep some of those things, but
refine it.
Just tweak it.
Yeah, you have to refine
That's right, tweak it.
And then I'd also like to say that if getting out of the military, you still want to get another job, that is absolutely something that you can do.
Yes.
My advice to you would be, do not get out of the military without having at least a bachelor's degree. Because if you at least have a bachelor's degree in almost anything, that pretty much sets you up at a minimum to be able to make what you made in the military. At a minimum. And we're talking 20 years, 30-year people. Because if you don't have a degree, then you're going to be fighting to get equal pay, and that's going to be another mental hit that you could take that could sort of have you spiraling or whatever. But at a minimum, I make sure that you get out of the military. I don't care what, even if you only did 10 years. At a minimum, I would tell anybody in the military right now, do not step away from the military unless you have a bachelor's degree at a minimum.
Yep.
That would be my recommendation. Do you have to? No, you don't have to.
You don't.
But you just, if you want to continue to set yourself up for future earnings, specifically on the enlisted side, I would make sure that you put in that extra time to get that bachelor's degree so that you have that to fall back on.
Well, it's the same way on the officer side too, because most of the officers have a bachelor's already. So depending on what you want to do, and then that's what we're talking about, the preparing, that preparation prior to getting out, to see if it's another certification or something that you want to get or should get in order to get that job and to make that extra few dollars or whatever you want to do. Because
if you're gonna, time is not Army time.
That's true.
Meaning those certifications he's talking about, it ain't going to happen in 2 weeks.
No. Yeah. So So prepare. Have your plan ready prior to, and you can try to use the military for some of these things that you want to do. If you know that you need a certain certificate or something like that, you can get that prior to getting out, so that you're ready right from jump, to get that next job.
And the last thing I'll say is, your greatest plan, it's not going to go 1, 2, 3 in step. So just mentally prepare yourself to put yourself in the best situation.
Yep. Get your head right.
And then just go with it. Right?
Yep.
You've dealt with success and failures, just being in the military, and understand that stuff's going to continue for the rest of your life.
Yep.
I'm just going to tell you this. We know that the uniform gave all of us structure. It gave us purpose. It gave us pride. But it's not all of who we are.
No. Yeah, the rank doesn't define your worth.
No.
You're much more than that. But the military helped to build that, shape it, and get it to a point where you were good enough to retire, get out, and be successful afterwards, regardless what you do. It's a chapter in your life, in the whole story of your life. So
it's almost like graduation. You serve that time to get that qualification, get that certification. Now it's time to find something else.
Yep.
So this is absolutely for you, whether you're still in, whether you're just getting out, or years removed like your boy here. Keep looking in that mirror. Know who you are beyond the rank you wore in the service.
That's right. So thank y'all for joining us, and share this episode. Mention our podcast to your friends, and follow us on Instagram, YouTube at 4 Titles, 1 Truth.
But do us a favor, share this with anyone that you think would find our conversations interesting, whether they're military or not, retired or active. Let them know that we're talking truths from our service, and we hope that we can find people that it benefits them. Because what's the use of experiencing something if you can't pass on that knowledge to people?
Yep, and we want to hear from you guys too. So please comment. Let us know what you think, what you want to hear us talk about. What you think about the subject that we went over on that podcast. And as always, y'all, let's keep the conversation going.
All right.
Peace.
Holla.